Okay, this is my recording or my opinion being recorded about the Iran-Iraq issue that's happening. First, I was going to comment on Iraq and how, from what I was reading or understanding, is that there was protest and basically an attack on the embassy. I mean, it wasn't a full-fledged, Beirut thing, but it was enough to question why are we there. And other people are going to comment on this with, in the same way, basically saying why are we even in the Middle East? And that was my opinion. Why are we in the Middle East? And I think that's generally still a valid thought. That why? I mean, we have to exercise influence because maybe because we need oil or because stuff like that. But what happened next was the general was killed by an airstrike, or maybe it's a drone strike. We don't really know, but I think I heard that reference that it was a drone strike. Anyway, what this general is a known commander of forces. Look at the details. I don't remember all the names and all that stuff of what I can't even pronounce what it is, but he's in charge of a force that goes around mercenary-like and supports Iranian type of religious beliefs and forces throughout the region. So there's a number of them, and I heard recently that a congressman said that he had about 600 Americans' blood on his hands, maybe directly, indirectly through ISIS or supporting Syria. I mean, I don't know where that number comes from, but maybe just Iraq insurgency. I actually read, as a side note, I read some earlier books on the Iraq War, Iraqi freedom, and there was flooding of foreign fighters into Iraq from the very beginning, from Syria. That was the entry point. This has been going on for years. I think Jocko Willink on his podcast may have mentioned it, or someone that was part of those podcasts. And I just read it. It's well known. We weren't really thinking that back then, because who the hell knows the black box of the Middle East and what was going on. But what we have here is a situation where some people are going to say, look, let's not antagonize Iran. Look, this guy was in Iraq. He was in Iraq. He wasn't in Iran. I think he came from Lebanon, and Lebanon said they're distancing themselves. They just said, hey, look, we don't want to be part of this, any kind of revenge, from the U.S. or the Western powers. Lebanon is somewhat stable now. I mean, I've seen some recent videos of people just walking around and just a normal place. It's a beautiful location in the world, and I don't think they want any more war. They've had enough. So anyway, I was wondering what was up with all these attacks on these strikes, these drone airstrikes on targets throughout the Middle East by the Trump administration. It's probably because they know more than we do, and this general is straight up antagonizing the situation. So I have to I'm basically saying he not needed to, but look, he got took out. He got taken out. When there's a situation where people are antagonizing, instigating. We are in the Middle East. We do have assets there. We do have interest there. Until we don't, maybe I don't know what our footprint is left in the Middle East, but it's not as big as it used to be. But my initial feeling was like, fuck Iraqi, freedom. They want to treat us like that, good luck. And, it was probably fruitless to hope that they would, change and want democracy. But I don't think it's as simple as that. I just looked, and there was protests or celebrations of people that don't like the Iranian influence, and there's the whole two sects of, that religion that they participated in. So it's not easy, and it's very complicated. And I do kind of stick to the belief that maybe we should not involve ourselves with that so much. But if the U.S. and the Western powers, specifically the U.S., has interest in something to do with the Middle East, maybe we should protect ourselves, even on this tactical level. They must have known that this general, instigated these attacks, which is not hard to do when you have supporters and you drop a general in there, or money and influence is being pumped in, and that's how it goes. So I just kind of believe, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world that he got taken out. Yeah, it's going to inflame things. There's already I was reading this morning, 3 people stabbed, 1 dead at least, in a Paris attack, knife attack, and I think they neutralized him with tactic, bullets. They shot the guy down. I don't know much more about it, but look, and also the Police Department, NYPD, is holding a press conference about heightened security with visible long guns on the streets. So what we're going to have here is an issue. We're going to have to deal with this. It is going to have blowback. But whatever. That's how the world works. We can't sit around and take lumps, or if our interests are in a certain area, there's something to fight for, we'll fight for it. So anyway, people in the Middle East, certain countries are influencing the American and the Trump administration for certain benefits to their country. But look, it's not always about that. I mean, it could be, but maybe it also aligns with our own interests, and maybe just someone who's being a militaristic, murderous bully needs to be taken out and sent a message. Are we afraid? Yeah, peace, love, and harmony. Yeah, that'll come sooner or later when the world is no longer around. Humans, are at least not as populous as they are, and or have a belief system that, it's just not going to happen. Look, history shows that's just not how it works. So that's it. Okay, those are my thoughts on it. More complicated than I thought originally. Glad I didn't say anything sooner. But right now it's about, let's see what happens. Let's see how many people are going to die in the West because of this. Europe probably the first. New York has a lot of immigrant population. They're out there, and hopefully they're not going to get triggered too much. But it seems like we're on a heightened alert, and we'll see what happens. But let's be on the side of America a little bit, once in a while. Okay? All right.